I have, and I actually have a funny story about that. I had a client. She had a name that kind of had a little ethnic flair to it. Her name was Alexa. And so, I mean, I have gone to school with, white women named Alexa, but the prosecutor I was dealing with was older. So he stereotyped it, didn't really look at his file, didn't know he was dealing with a young white woman, assumed because it was a SNAP fraud case, a food stamp fraud case, that he was probably dealing with a black woman. And so his initial offer was a significant amount of jail time. And so I went to him and I kind of sold her story. It was a situation where she had lost custody of her kids. She was going through a rough patch in her life. It just didn't dawn on her that she needed to report that her kids had moved out of the house for various reasons. And so she continued to collect benefits for them. And then someone reported her, and that's how the fraud case came about. So I'm trying to sell her story that, like, look, she's working now, she's in a better place. Can we just pay restitution? Can we try to divert this? And he's constantly telling me, no, 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 no. And I'm like, she has no record. Like, this is isolated. I showed the court records where we could see where custody changed and what was going on. He wouldn't hear any of it. Finally, I got her employer to write a letter basically saying, like, look, she's a great employee. She's doing great. Please just consider keeping her out of jail. So finally talked him down in the courtroom. Like, he and I are arguing back and forth, and people know I get super invested in my cases and super passionate. So he and I are both raising our voices at each other. We going back and forth. Finally, I talk him down to a suspended sentence. He offers her probation. He says, all right, go write it up, get out of my face kind of thing. Fine, whatever. I won. She's not going to jail. So as I am filling out her plea forms, I call her up to defense table so that we can go over them and get signatures. And when he heard me call her name, I guess out of the corner of his eye, he saw her. And when he saw her, I saw his face change, like his mouth literally dropped open because she's maybe at that time, she was in her late 20s, very good looking white woman. And so he comes over and he says, is this Alexa? I said, I knew why he was doing it. I said, yes, sir. This is my client. This is Alexa.
Hello, Alexa.
And I could see his face